So the 2016 NFL Draft is really shaking up to be one of the most interesting NFL drafts in recent memory. When was the last time we saw the first overall pick, the original first pick, which was the Tennessee Titans, and the second overall pick, the Cleveland Browns, both jump out of their respective selections? The only team that's standing strong right now within the top five is the San Diego Chargers. The Dallas Cowboys are there, the Jacksonville Jaguars are there, but the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns both jump out of being a number one pick as well as the number two pick. Today, the Philadelphia Eagles made a huge jump in their draft stock from being, I think it was the number 8th overall pick in the draft, to all the way jumping up to the second overall selection in the draft. And a lot of people are really surrounding this due in fact of two quarterbacks. The Rams are going after a quarterback. It's all more than likely. And then the Philadelphia Eagles are also saying they're going to be getting a quarterback because it was just announced right after they officially got the trade that it's like they're going to be their land off.
And I think Carson Wentz is going to be the Rams' majority target in the NFL draft. But honestly, is Jared Goff really worth, everything that has been, exchanged just to get that, second overall selection? Now, there is rumors over the last couple of weeks that the Philadelphia Eagles have been on a big, run trying to trade up. They had something going about with the San Diego Chargers on a draft day trade, which would move the Eagles up to the third overall selection, giving San Diego the 8th overall pick in the draft. But nothing has really came about. I think that, the best thing for San Diego right now to do is look at, keeping that third round selection, because when we do our NFL podcast, our NFL draft podcast, this coming Monday for sure, we're going to do an NFL draft podcast next Monday where we'll give our final NFL mock draft. I already have the selection already up on the website, nexusportsnetwork.com. You guys can, follow the NFL draft. We'll give you guys the live draft results. We'll get you guys covered for that. But what we're looking at here right now is, honestly, is Jared Goff really worth, everything that the Eagles have already traded? Now, the official trade goes down as this. The Eagles acquired the second round pick as well as a 2017 fourth round pick in exchange for the 8th overall pick, the 77th overall pick, and the 100th overall picks in 2016, and a 2017 first round pick and a 2018 second round pick. Honestly, that is a hell of a lot of selections is going for one selection in one round in one NFL draft. I don't think that is the right move. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are losing a lot of ground here to really build in the draft, including this year. They lost 3 draft selections just to get 1 draft selection. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles are immediately saying that Sam Bradford is their starting quarterback. Sam Bradford is really heated that the Philadelphia Eagles moved up in the draft and have already announced they're going to draft a quarterback, because that would immediately mean that Sam Bradford's going to have some competition after they just said he's going to be the starting quarterback for the team next year. That is going to be pretty interesting. I think the Eagles are going to be one of the most interesting teams to watch during the whole, practices, during training camp, and probably during the preseason. If the Eagles are really confident that, Jared Goff is going to be their project, I think they're going to go about it the right way. There has been multiple NFL teams that have immediately rushed starting quarterbacks, and one of the biggest guys is Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles was supposed to be the saving grace for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is going to be that guy to really, diminish what Blaine Gabbert ever did, and try to, make Blaine Gabbert, not memorable in Jacksonville. I remember Blaine Gabbert in Jacksonville like it was yesterday. Do I think Sam Bradford is going to be a guy to be pushed away at some point? Damn right I am. I think that Jared Goff is going to be a guy that's going to end up being on the bench probably for the next, season or two. As shocking as that says, you guys are really probably going to give me a lot of heat for it, but I think that's what they're going to go about it. I think they're really going to, develop Jared Goff into being the next, hot commodity in the NFL, 2-3 years down the line. I know the Eagles already have a solid quarterback core. I really like what they did this offseason. They picked up Chase Daniel from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a guy who is really underrated. And then Sam Bradford, I've been a big fan of Sam Bradford, since coming into the NFL. He has a lot of issues. My issue with Sam Bradford is that, he's the kind of guy that will start very good, but when down the line of a game, down the line of a season, he's just not, a consistent enough quarterback. And that really gets old.
I'm not saying that was probably one of the biggest reasons why he left St. Louis, but that's just how I looked at it. He rushes a lot of passes in games down the line of a game. He just is not a consistent and more accurate quarterback down the line in a game. Last year at the end of the season, we saw something great. He really, changed that. He was he was easily a top 10 quarterback, not all season, but when you look at what he has done for the Eagles at the end of the last year, he really went out there and really proved that he is a top 10 quarterback. So, I mean, honestly, what good is Sam Bradford if he's only going to be, blown up at the end of the year? You need a quarterback to be consistent all season long and lead this Eagles team into playoffs. This Eagles team also lost DeMarco Murray. This is going to be a pretty interesting, running back core. I know they're rumored to get Ezekiel Elliott. I think Ezekiel Elliott is a guy who I honestly think is going to end up being, a mid-round draft pick still. I mean, the Eagles were the right fit. The Eagles only have Ryan Matthews as their starting quarterback, their starting running back. So that really leaves a hole at running back. I'm not confident enough in Ryan Matthews. Personally, I am a San Diego Chargers guy. I was not a fan of Ryan Matthews when he first came to San Diego. He was just, he had more, injuries than he did touchdowns. So, I mean, Ryan Matthews is not, a trustworthy running back right now. He is a number 2 guy in the National Football League. So the Eagles still have a lot of holes. I think the Eagles really shot themselves in the foot because you're not going to be able to draft a running back until what? I think you kept your second round selection if they have already traded it, not that I'm aware of. You can go out there, if you do have a second round pick, you can go out there and get a running back. I know you have like a mid second round selection. Your third selection you can do it. I want to say your fourth selection you can't do it. So you're losing you're losing a handful of selections here. But you know what? The Eagles are a team that that shocked the world today. They officially got the second round selection from the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are a team that's right now they're rebuilding. They have a lot of draft picks for the 2017 draft. You got the first round pick in the 2017 draft. So you got 2 first round selections in 2017, and then you have a handful of selections in this year's draft. And then you have a second round pick in 2018. So the Browns did good here. I'm really much of a fan favorite, but who's going to be that starting quarterback? That is the biggest question here. They're not bringing in anybody. Are they going to go with McCown? Are they going to go with Austin Davis as quarterback? The Browns team, as it stands on 4/20/2016, the team is still a mess. They really need to start fixing something and find a more credible quarterback to really lead that team down the future.